Welcome to the Media Mavens Show, a fantastic fusion of health, wealth, and wisdom that will ignite your passion for life. I'm Aldwin Alternate, also known as the Media Queen from Australia.
And I'm Kerstin Lynnertz from Germany. We are here to take you on a journey of inspiration to help you grow in life and business and unlock your true potential.
With a combined 70 years of media experience, we share stories, insights, and expert advice that will empower you in all areas of your life.
The Media Mavens Show is not just another show. It's a candid look for answers to the big questions in life and a movement towards a better, brighter future.
This show transcends borders. We're connecting people and cultures globally.
So whether you're watching us online or listening to our podcast, buckle up to be inspired, informed, and ready to conquer the world.
Oh, yes.
Here we are again. You look so tanned. Jeez, I can tell you are literally at the other side of this planet.
It's summer here and it's winter in Germany.
Oh my God. And it's like, Berlin at its best today. When I look outside, outside my studio here, I've got a window overlooking the city. I'm on the top floor of a high-rise building and it's gray, dark, pouring rain. Yes. Oh my God, I can't wait for the spring to come.
Yes, well, if it makes you feel any better, it is actually raining on the Gold Coast in Australia as well tonight. So it makes you feel better. We're both getting a bit of rain. However, it has definitely been very, very hot through the day. We've had heat wave temperatures and then we've had full on rain. It's the weather has gone insane. However, wherever you are in the world, welcome, welcome. We would love to know where you're from too, tuning in right now on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, or X, of course, as Twitter is now known as X. Love to know where you're from. Let us know in the comments. Where are you from in the world right now? Today's topic is about unlocking your true potential. Unlock your true potential. And it's Kirsten and I today, and then next episode we've got a guest coming on as well, and we will be looking for more guests and we will be looking for all sorts of topics around health, wealth and wisdom to share. So please do let us know what you prefer to hear more of. Do you want to see more of the health, the wealth or the wisdom, or tune in whether you're on the podcast, tuning in? What do you want to hear more of? We would love to hear from you. So Kirsten,
we will address all of those topics that you're handing us in. You can even send us a voice message. As we said in our premiere last week, we want this to be an interactive show, not just a show that you consume, but definitely a movement, a platform that you partake in. And if you want to send us a voice message with a comment of one of the previous episodes or with a topic that's related to health, wealth, or wisdom, important questions in life, something you want to share, we're going to include that into the show. So feel free to get in touch.
Yay. And we've got beautiful Fauzia. Is that how we say her name? Fauzia is with us. Fauzia Mughal, is that how you say it?
Mughal. Yes.
Mughal. Mughal. Hello, gorgeous mavens. This is Fauzia from Switzerland. Welcome, welcome. Great to have you with us on Facebook. Fantastic. Unlock your true potential. I am loving this idea of unlocking your true potential. What does that mean to you? What does that mean to you, unlocking your true potential? So, Kirsten, what does it mean to you?
Well, it means that you're actually living your dharma, your life's purpose, that you're living lives to the fullest. And that doesn't mean that you just go out partying and you're having fun all the time, but that you make the best out of this time on the planet that you get given. Let's say we have an average of 100 years. I prefer to, play big, think big. So I'm convinced I'm going to be 104 years walking on this planet. And I want to waste as little of my time as possible, because the older you get, the more you become aware that we have a limited time, at hand. And living your full potential is that on the one hand, you really do, when we talk about about business, what you're meant to do, what you're really good at, but also what you enjoy, you know, what maybe doesn't feel like work in the optimum situation. And then also the people that you surround yourself with, that you become picky who you spend your time with, what you spend your time with, to really end most of the days, of course not all the days, but most of the days, with a feeling of fulfillment, with a feeling of gratitude, and just enjoy being alive. It sounds, you know, very simple. It sounds it could, you know, you could say it sounds naive, but it's actually, when you look at it, anything else is a waste of time. And too many people, it actually gets more and more and more, too many people are wasting their precious time, and all of a sudden they have reached a certain age, they become depressed, they lack fulfillment, they don't enjoy their job, you know, they don't enjoy relationships. Maybe they've spent years or decades in a relationship that's not fulfilling to them. And this is, when you look around in the Western countries, especially, why so many of these stress-related diseases are coming around, why so many people are facing depressions, burnout, because maybe a little bit earlier they missed the chance to live up to their full potential.
Absolutely. And in fact, the number one regret of the dying is living a life not true to yourself, or, you know, dying with regrets. And, you know, to live a life fully, to unlock your true potential, I think it's very important to get that you are here for a reason, that you are 1 in a billion just by being born. You're 1 in a billion just by being born. There's a reason you're here on the planet. And, you know, they say there's, you know, the two biggest things in life is where you find out, you know, first thing you're born, and then you find out why you're born, right? And what is that for you? And what is it where you are fully loving what you're doing, where you're fully in flow with what you're doing? This is a great way to find your purpose. And Bob Proctor actually shared it in one of his videos as well, where people asked him, how do you find your purpose? And he said, do what you love as much as you can. Do what you love in life. And this is where you get into the zone where time just flies, and you know, you're fully in the moment. You know, like just before we hopped on this show, right now it's 11 p.m. here on the Gold Coast, and in Germany it's, what time is it for you now in
It's
Germany?
a 2:15,
Quarter past
2:15 p.m. Yes.
15 p.m. and nearly 11:15 here on the Gold Coast. And I was just saying to Kirsten, this massive migraine just came on. Like, I just had this really big headache, and I can still feel it, right? However, the show must go on, right? Even when you don't feel like it sometimes, you know, you got to do what you got to do, right? We committed to this show, and there's no way I was going to let you down, and there's no way I was not going to do this show tonight. And as we're doing the show, as we've gone live and we're interacting, you know, I'm finding the headache is dissipating, right?
And this is what happens. Yeah, this is what actually happens. It's not just a feeling. And there's actually, you know, these things are looked into by science as well. And it's proven that people who do what they love, who enjoy their profession, they're not only better and more successful at it, they actually, this is a proven fact, they do get sick less often. You know, people who hate their job, they call in ill much more often. They have a much longer recreational span. So let's say somebody breaks their leg who hates their job. It's a proven fact that their bones actually heal slower than somebody who's self-employed or somebody who loves their job. Isn't it amazing how the body reacts to our mind, to our emotions? And this is actually something that you can then turn around. You know, you can create an effect in the other direction. So let's say you're creating a situation where you make your money with something you love, you actually will operate at a higher frequency. You will get ill less often. Or like you're saying, by the way, I totally appreciate you not calling in sick and you showing up, you know, being the beacon of light and walking your talk and being the example.
Yes.
Although you've got a strong headache, but your body reacts. You will have a different energy, and you will have more energy at hand. You will be able to be more productive. And this is what happens when you work from a different mindset. And that's, of course, much easier when you do something that you love, that you enjoy, that feels it makes sense that you're actually giving something to the world. And I also want to be very clear here. So often I heard another podcast a few days ago where they were also talking about, finding your purpose. We hear that so often. Live your passion, live your dream life. This very clearly doesn't mean that everybody needs to become a show host or a teacher or a coach or a leader. You can be the best baker man in the world. You can be the very best nurse in the world because you love helping people. You can be the very best kindergarten teacher in the world because it's your passion to work with children. Whatever it is that you're passionate about, you can be the very best dog sitter,
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's about finding the passion in your life and then finding a way to turn that into a business or into a side hustle. Sometimes I have people that I'm coaching. They say, well, I work in a bank. I'm a bank manager. How can I be passionate about that? Well, I like numbers. I like, helping people with their money, but it's nothing that my heart is beating for. And sometimes I take them through a process. Maybe they'll have yoga as a hobby. I've had a woman from Austria, a beautiful woman. She started a side business teaching yoga, working in the bank. And her mindset shifted from feeling so stressed and feeling such a pressure in her everyday job that she was so much looking forward and so much enjoying and drawing so much energy from her side job in her yoga business that she understood is good to have a safe job that pays the rent. She started to, do this job from a position of appreciation, of gratitude, and her whole energy shifted. It went from a victim mentality, from a suffering mentality, to a mentality of being in power, of tapping into her potential, finding joy in what she does, and at least finding appreciation with what pays the bills. So there's different approaches.
And I think also we need to listen to our bodies too. Like the fact this headache has come on, like I'm off to Bali tomorrow. I've got so much to do in the next, like I find sometimes before I go away, there's this kind of period of stress that happens. It's like, oh my gosh, there's so much to do before I go away. And then often when I come back, there's so much to do when I come back too. However, I am taking my laptop with me. I will be working while I'm away, and I can get stuff done on the plane. I can get stuff done at the airport. However, there's a certain amount to manage before we do an overseas trip, right? There's, make sure you got your passport, your charges, like there's so many things. And so I know that this headache is telling me, there's a lot on my mind right now, right? And Louise Hay talks about this in Heal Your Life. So it's important also to listen to our body. If your body is hurting somewhere, it's telling you something. And it's also important not always to push through as well, right? Sometimes I think we have to pick our battles. Sometimes we do need to actually take some time out and to rest sometimes as well. And I must say, I'm feeling so much better now than I was just before the show when this headache was pumping. And I have actually gone into hospital in the past because of migraines, and often it's because of lack of water as well. Often you'll get headaches because your brain becomes, instead of being like a grape, it becomes like a sultana. It becomes dehydrated, and it becomes, and so drinking lots of water is a great way to overcome headaches. And there's another little tip that I know, which is where you squeeze this part of your hand right here. This is another little thing I learned from a Chinese doctor, like an acupressure point right here. And if you squeeze that, which I've been doing as well while I've been sitting here, I've been squeezing that area right there. And that has been really helping as well. So there's all these little tips and tricks, that can help you get through the day sometimes if you're struggling or whatever. Because even when you're living your true purpose, you've unlocked your true potential, there's going to be challenges. You're going to have challenges, and it's all about how are you going to deal with the challenges in life. This roller coaster ride of life, are you going to fall off the roller coaster ride of life when things get a little bit tough? Or are you going to enjoy the journey, enjoy the ride, and go and because realize you're going to come back up again, right? If you just hang in there for the ride, at the end of every breakdown, there is always a breakthrough. Always.
Exactly. And you've given such, so many such amazing hints here, these little tricks. Of course, drinking water, this is common sense. We all know that. So often we forget that. I always recommend, to my clients, don't even put just the glass, put the bottle. I even drink informed water. I don't have a contract with this company. If that's some of interest to you, Google informed water. It's amazing. One of the best placebo effects you can give to yourself. And, these points you were referring to in yoga, they're called marmas. They're energy points where in our nervous system, there's certain intersections where particular nervous veins, they're crossing. And when you press particular points, this is actually through the information that goes through the nerves, is triggering particular organs like your brain, like your stomach, like your heart. And the effect that it has, like pushing this one, it's an energizing point. Sometimes you can feel it. You can even hear a little sound in your stomach when you do that, because it's going through your solar plexus. It's affecting your brain. These are all these little tools that we can acquire over the years. I always like to speak of a toolbox, when you fill it with different tools, you can get through those demanding phases in life, because obviously it's not always rainbows and pony, farm. And as you say, you have a long journey ahead of you. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of things to do. And then you also need to be on the show. You need to be presenting yourself. You can be seen, you can be heard, which is another pressure you can't hide. And that's what makes the difference. This is what I'm teaching a lot in my trainings, and I keep repeating it. I know it's unsexy, but people need to hear this, and they need to understand. If you want to be lastingly successful in your business, especially when you're self-employed, if you want to operate continuously at a higher level, in a good health state, without falling back, without burning out, without getting ill, it's important to keep a cadence, discipline, regularity, things we all don't like. Who thinks discipline is sexy? No one. But when you have your routines, your daily things, your breathing exercises in the morning, your meditation in the morning, your drinking water, eating well, taking your vitamins, already you will be operating at a different frequency. The diseases that can affect you will be much less. Your immune system will be stronger, but also your mental health, your mental discipline, your perseverance will be much stronger, and you're much less likely to say, oh, I'm going to skip it. Today, I'll just go on the couch. I'm just going to call in sick. And this is what that's the difference between successful people and people who don't get that far, people who live their true potential and people who waste a big chunk of their potential. And this is not to blame or shame anyone. I'm it's a little bit like Kali, the strict mother, chopping off the head with, being lazy, and this little voice saying, oh, come on, stay at home. You could have chosen to not do the show today, but you're showing up and you'll feel better afterwards. And this is a upward spiral, because our rewarding system in the brain, when we celebrate a little success, different hormones are released in the brain. And when we fail, if you had not shown up for the show afterwards, you might have felt even worse, because it's the trigger response system of a failure. But the trigger response system of a success, it sets free whole different hormones, and they're much more likely to battle your headache than the negative ones.
It's fascinating, isn't it? The science. It's so fascinating. We are so powerful as human beings. We have so much within us, and so much more stamina and perseverance and patience and Resilience is a big word that's been thrown around the last few years, right? So much more than we may think we do, right? And if you actually look back at your life and think, oh my gosh, what are all the big challenges that I've overcome in my life? And how have I overcome those challenges? You will probably find that there's a hell of a lot there when you really dig deep as to all the things that you've come through your life to get to this point where you are right now. And you're touching on time there. Time is of the essence right now. Oh my gosh, time is like the biggest currency. It feels like ever since AI took off the last 6 months, right? Artificial intelligence, chat GPT, social media has gone berserk, stories, reels. We are so distracted. And a lot of people I'm speaking to, they feel overwhelmed. They feel like they just don't have time for stuff. And then you speak to, I was speaking to my dad yesterday. He's 86 years of age. And he was literally saying to me, he said, all my friends are dying. He said, he's 86 and they're all dying. He said, the only friends we've really got left, he said, we might see them once every 6 months and they'll probably go soon too. And dad, my dad, 86, and he feels mentally as alert as he was when he was 20. He's got the sharpest memory from way back in his childhood, yet it goes just like that. And this is what people realize more and more, is the fragility of life. And as we talk about unlocking your true potential here, I'm sure there's a lot of people watching this right now. And thank you all those joining us on Instagram too that I can see here. Thank you for joining us. We've got Paul here. We've got Pitch It Up, My Journey to Release 100 Kilos. Oh, very cool. Randy Walty's here. We've got Jordan Lapira. We've got Mehra Yoga has joined us as well. Thank you so much. All those have joined us on Instagram as well. As we go through life, you think about, how long are you going to wait? There'll be people here that think, they probably think, yes, I know what I love to do, but how can I monetize that? Or, maybe there's things I really want to do, but I'll do that later. I might do it, maybe I'll do it next year, or, maybe I'll do it after this is done or that's done or whatever. And how often do we put off for tomorrow what we could actually get started on today? We could actually do something right now, plant a little seed, do something today in the area, taking steps towards the area of whatever we want to achieve in life.
Absolutely. There's this wonderful quote or expression in Latin, carpe diem, seize the day,
Yes.
and this is so, and again, it doesn't mean that you need to be super productive and write a book every week. It is about consciously feeling and absorbing the time that you get given. Again, you're mentioning how your father's friends are passing away. Anyone beyond their 80s, it's going to happen. Our circle of friends will get smaller, down to the size of a dot the older we get. Even I have lost, just from without thinking too long, people that I knew closely, I've lost 6 people over the past 2 years, right? And I'm only 47. And these haven't been older people. Some people were even younger than me. People younger than me, from today to tomorrow, heart attack, dead, gone. Leaving wife and children. And life can be over so quick. So it's about seizing your time, enjoying your time. When you ask yourself, how much time do you waste with feeling fear, with fighting with people, with scrolling in front of social media, binge watching stupid things that degenerate your brain on television. And again, I'm saying nothing against a binge watching evening every now and then. But there's so much life has to give, and there's so much beauty in life, and you have so much to give. There's nothing more beautiful than sharing your experience when you get older, be it in teaching, being it helping your children, the younger generations. So on the one hand, it's about really making a good use of the time that we get given. I always live by this 75-25 percentage rule. If you live a good, productive, healthy, sane, inspired, intelligent life, 75%, you can watch bullshit, you can eat pizza, drink shakes for 25%. If this is what you enjoy, you can get hammered every once in a while. If this is what you enjoy, if you think that's a pleasure for you, it's fine, because often enough, you will feed your brain with a rewarding trigger response, with a with the sensation of something positive, which will then ignite other actions that will lead to more positive results. And you were mentioning something very interesting as well. Social media. Since the birth of social media, everything has gotten so much faster, so much quicker. We are living in an information overload. And this is what I get from every single one of my clients who come to me, this feeling of overwhelm, of overload,
Yes.
of the feeling of not getting their to-do lists done. And I would say in 85%, it's the case when I ask them, how much time per day or per average in a week do you spend on social media? It's hours, 4, 5, 6 hours per day. People check their social media while they're working. I think it's terrible when I'm in a restaurant. I go out to eat very often. And when I'm in a restaurant and I see couples not communicating, not speaking, but scrolling on their Instagram feed or wherever, so the so-called social media is actually degenerating our social connections unless it's used in a positive way. Every new invention, everything that's beyond our natural capacities, social media is faster than the human brain. It's like the atomic power. Atomic power per se is something very positive. It's unlimited power, but used in a negative way. We all know what happens when you build a bomb from atomic power, right? And I think social media is something very similar. You and I, we use it to spread positive news, to spread knowledge, to reach out to people, to create a social platform. But then it's being used so often. I don't want to say misused. Everyone can choose. Everyone has, their freedom of speech. But when you look at how social media is being used so often and what comes with it, what it entails, this presentation of ego, we've been speaking about that, off camera, the way some girls present themselves, all this nudity, all this, senseless videos of where you just think, what's the point? What are you trying to share here? Where does this make the world a better place? It's bringing people apart, is luring people into comparing themselves with others, of feeling minor to others, of feeling not good enough, not beautiful enough. The whole fake world with all these super filters that people come with, all of that is dissolving the energy, is drawing away of focus. And at the end of the day, when you allow your mind to buy into that too much, way more than 25%, just, as a rule of thumb, it can get unhealthy. And I think this is one of the major reasons why our planet, especially the Western society, is generally in a declining state of health, mental health, I would say.
Yes, not to mention the fast food, epidemic. And of course, the fastest food is actually picking fruit from the garden, or food straight from the garden is actually the
Yes.
fastest food. However,
Yes.
here we are, we've become addicted to the fast food chains, etc. And, there's a saying that says death by knife and fork, death by knife and fork. And it's very important to get conscious to the food that we're eating and what we're putting into our mouth. We don't put crappy fuel into our car. We don't put the wrong fuel. In fact, once I went to a petrol station and I put diesel in my car. My car takes unleaded petrol. Now, I didn't know it was diesel, because what happened is they actually had diesel fuel in an unleaded tank. And my car didn't go very far at all. In fact, it went out of the petrol station and it just conked out on the side of the road because I had the wrong fuel in the tank. And how often do we put the wrong fuel in our bodies that make us sluggish, or that, and notice how you feel when you eat certain foods. When we eat live foods, when we eat living foods, raw food, how good do you feel, as opposed to really overly cooked food that you've killed all the nutrients in that.
Absolutely. And it's easy. People always say, oh, it's so difficult to eat healthy. It's so much more expensive to eat healthy. It is not. You know,
Mm.
I'm blessed. I have a big garden. You know, we have a little weekend condo outside of the city. And in the summer, spring and summer, autumn months, I would say 80% of what I cook, my fruit and vegetables, I grow any type of fruit and vegetables you can think of, is
Beautiful.
homegrown. It doesn't get more organic than that. You know, we have these
Love
crippled
it.
little, not so beautiful apples, but I've known them from the blossom of the flower. So, you know, I know the bees by hand who fertilize this apple. And
That's so
it
cool.
feels different. My daughter grows up
Oh,
around that. It's amazing for a city kid, right? And you know that, and all of this comes down to education. That's why I'm a very strong advocate. Parents, please educate your children. Do you know that some of the city children don't even know if they have a sausage or something, you know, salami, they don't even know where it comes from. Some children actually do not know where this comes from. And I like the death by knife and fork. I like that expression that you used, which means that the more processed a food is, the worse it gets for your body. There's amazing apps out nowadays. Actually, I recommend everyone who's interested in, you know, eating better and getting closer to their true potential with the help of good food, which is one of the 5 main pillars, right? The body is a vehicle that we are experiencing life with. And you want a healthy body. You want to have energy. You want to get out of bed and feel energized and ready to seize the day. And food is so important. And you can get those apps, do you know them? Where you can scan a product in the supermarket and it tells you from 0 to 100 points if there's some poisonous stuff inside, you know, if there's additives inside, if there's chemicals inside, and you get a rating from anywhere between 0 and 100 points. I do that all the time when I go shopping, and it's not difficult to live healthy. It's again like learning to ride the bicycle. It might take a few weeks to get to understand what you want to leave out, to get to understand what you want to eat more of. I actually train everyone that I'm working with in understanding their personal body type. This we should do a show especially on that, because yes, eating healthy, getting away from the processed food, getting away from the fast food is a good first step. And if you want to go even higher in your frequency, if you really want to get to a really good health and really work from high energy, you might want to look at your individual body type. There's 3 different body types. We're going to cover that in another show. It would burst our time frame right here. But let's say some people are good with cooked food, whereas other people are better with raw food, right? And some other people might have difficulty processing raw food. I hear that sometimes when I
right.
analyze my clients' eating habits, right? They're like, oh, I don't know why I have such sleeping problems. I eat so much salad and I eat so healthy. And when I do an analysis of their body type, it turns out their body cannot process raw food. So they think they do something good by eating a lot of salad, but it's actually counterproductive. No? So
Ah,
this is a rabbit hole. If we start getting into nutrition,
ah.
it's a whole separate show.
That sounds fascinating. Well, I must love the
Mhm.
live food because I have a lot of salads and fruit and I love that. Whereas when I have
Mhm.
bread, I feel really heavy. I can't really do much meat. I find meat really heavy too. And then there's the blood type diet. And you know, they say if you're an O type, then you like your red meat, you get more energy from red meat. And if you're an A type, which I am A plus, we're more vegetarian style. So there's all sorts of different ideas around that, and I do find it fascinating. And eating for your, you know, your blood type or your body type, that would definitely make a great show. I think that would be brilliant. And you know, with this unlocking your true potential, I just want to mention the stat here that a third of people die by the age of 65. And coming back to what you were saying, Kirsten, about you've lost 6 friends during the last 2 years, and I've lost about the same, and a lot of them have been heart attack and people in their 50s, very healthy, you know, up until, you know, sudden heart attacks. And of course, we've had the jab rolled out. As we know, the jab has been rolled out worldwide, and one of the biggest side effects is heart attacks from that. Do your own research on that. It's been a lot of Russian roulette going on out there. A lot of people have felt forced to do certain things that they haven't wanted to do, and unfortunately it's led to all sorts of health issues. My dad unfortunately got shingles. He's had a lot of heart issues. My mum's had a lot of heart issues, and they both took 2 of these jabs each. They've now said they're not getting any more, thank God, and each to their own on that. If you chose to do it, I wish you well. However, you've got to be aware that when you're putting stuff in your body, you don't know what's in that substance. If you're injecting stuff into your body, or the doctor's saying, "Oh, inject this in your body because it's good for you." Well, maybe you want to do a bit of research and find out what's in it, because you don't blame anyone else. If you've taken something, you've allowed someone to inject you with something, then you've got to take some responsibility for allowing that to happen. Like I got a tetanus shot, 25 years ago. I still sometimes get sciatica from this tetanus, which I was told I needed when I was going to China. The doctor said, "Oh, you need to get a tetanus shot," right? And it was one of the worst things I've ever done. I still feel now the pain in my the side of my body from where that tetanus shot was all those years ago, and I still get side effects from that tetanus shot. And so personally, I don't like needles, full stop. I don't like any needles, and being conscious of this.
Yes, absolutely. And this is something that you're nailing it, right? It's the responsibility we have for our own body cannot be given away to anyone, not to a doctor, not to a teacher, not to a mentor, not to a guru. We are responsible for this vehicle. As a parent, we are responsible for the health of our children. I am so conscious of what I put into my daughter's body because I'm her mother. She's only 8 years old. I'm still responsible for her life. Any injection, any shot that she got so far, and they were very little, I did extensive research. I don't just go to the doctors and allow somebody to put a needle into my daughter's body. I've seen so many children with strong side effects. This could be another whole show. I know it's a big discussion. With all rights, it's a very emotional discussion. There are very different opinions. Everyone has a right to have their own opinion, but everyone has the duty to take their own responsibility, because when things go wrong and you have not been aware, you have not been doing your homework and your research, you cannot stand there and blame anyone. I'm a very strong voice for taking responsibility in every aspect of life, and especially when it comes to our body, our health. You need to know what you put into your body. So many people, it's with the medicines, with the injections, like you were just mentioning. I even have, last week I was attending a cancer charity event. It was a children's cancer world cancer day last week, right? So I attended a big charity event. I spoke with some highly recognized scientists about this whole topic of cancer in children, and this is another very big topic. But we spoke about the medication as well, because some of my patients who are cancer patients who are going through chemo, some of them blindly just take what they get recommended. And I would never say don't take a chemo, but look into what you need. This is so individual, and you cannot treat every cancer patient the same. You need to look at the individual situation. And too often the Western medicine cannot do that because they don't have the time, they don't have the resources, they don't have enough people. It's a huge topic. So we are the only ones who really must take the time. I hardly ever use the word must, but we must take the time to do the research, to be aware what we put inside our bodies. This is for medication, this is for nutrition, and this is for mental food. If you watch negative news on the regular television every single day, if you scroll through your Instagram feed every single day, if you listen to aggressive music that's talking about killing somebody and killing your mother, if you eat burgers and fries every day, if you drink alcohol and booze every single day, what do you think your life is going to look like? It's quite unlikely that you're going to die happy. And
Yeah.
who does not want to die happy? If you ask anyone on the street, go to the most unhealthy person out on the street, do a research, ask them, do you want to die happy? Aren't we all dreaming of dying with a smile on our face, with a fulfilled heart, looking back to a life that we can be proud of? And this is your own responsibility, you know. And there's these
Yeah.
you know, these 5 main pillars in life I always talk about. It's the physical health, the mental health, the emotional health, the material health, and the spiritual health. And when you take care of all 5, then you have very big chances of dying happy, you know.
Mm,
and
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 living happy as well.
Absolutely. And this one comes with the other, you know. When you're living happy, then you're going to die happy. You know,
Yes.
and people so much don't like talking about dying, but we're all going to die. This is the only thing every single one has in common. You know,
Yes.
we need to
Yes.
digest, we need to die. This is what we all have in common. And there's a very interesting Buddhist meditation about death. And it's not nice, it's not fun, but it creates a shift in your mind when you reflect on the fact, and this is what we started this conversation with now, when you reflect on the fact that life will end one day. There's big chances that this might affect your now in a way that you appreciate your now more, and that you seize the day more, and you waste less of your time with unhealthy bullshit, you know.
Yeah, and you make time to actually even put your hands on your heart and feel how amazingly powerful your heart is. Your heart beats for you over 100,000 times a day, and we often don't even think about our heart. It's just automatic, and we are just so powerful with our heart intention. It is the whole heart math, and there is so much power within our bodies that often people just take for granted. And I always say to people, if you're whinging about anything in life right now, have a look at a guy called Nick Vujicic. There's a guy called Nick Vujicic who has no arms and no legs, and he's one of the most inspiring people I have ever seen. He's actually a motivational speaker, travels all over the world, no arms, no legs. He's even got a child as well. He's got he's had children, and he's just an extraordinary man. Nick
Mhm.
Vujicic. Look up man with no arms, no legs. And then you might sort of think, after you watch his videos, you might think to yourself, well, actually, I'm already like a walking billionaire because I have a fully functioning body with all parts. How often do we think about that? People think, oh, I wonder what shoes I'm going to wear. And yet people out there with no feet.
Yes, people get lost. This is the so-called, the Western world luxurious suffering. In Germany we say Wohlstandsverwahrlosung, or you can express it in like when everything's going well, people are creating their own problems. And again, there's no shame or blame. You can get lost in that, and when your surrounding is telling you your only problem is what shoes to wear, you might think that's the truth. And that again is so helpful to put things into perspective. And we don't always have to look at the suffering. We don't always look at the countries that have war and the developing countries and all of that, but it's good to put things into perspective. And again, here is important to find a balance between gratitude for what you have, for your health, for your security. When you live in a safe country that does not have a war at the moment, you're blessed, so having gratitude for that is a wonderful thing. And as well, you are allowed and even almost obliged to aim for the better, to strive for more, to see, okay, what else is there? What else can I go after? Because this is something that I get asked as well. As you know, I have a 30-year yoga history, and I've lived in an ashram for over 2 years, all in all, where I would own was a little mattress. I would live in a bamboo hut. All I would do was meditate in the morning, do yoga in the afternoon, meditate in the evening, attend the spiritual scriptures. I was studying Advaita Vedanta philosophy. This was all I was doing. And I didn't even wear shoes. I was barefoot all freaking day. And this
Wow.
was some of the most fulfilling and the happiest time of my life, because I had the luxury of only dealing with all the spiritual questions in life. And sometimes when I share tools that I learned from there with my clients, they're asking me, or some people are even afraid, some CEOs are even afraid, well, if I get so content with what I have, will this not make me sluggish? Will I not lose my zest and my ability to run my company? And I can answer no, but exactly the opposite will happen. And this brings me back to what you were saying about going on your big trip and getting headaches from all the pressure that you have with all the things you need to do right now.
Mhm.
When you have the ability to swing like a pendulum from gratitude and enjoying the moment and just feeling the now without running after more, and with just feeling life, being alive, being grateful you have 2 feet, 2 arms, you're healthy, your children are healthy. And then again, swinging into full undo mode, being the Duracell rabbit, as we call it in Germany. This is a beautiful way. And you will then eventually find your equilibrium in the middle, in the center. And you can go here, knowing I can always do that if I need to go full action. And you can go here and knowing I can do this. I can do it for one more day because I know I will go back into relaxation, and from this center, this strong center point that you will develop, strengthening all these 5 main pillars: your physical health, your mental health, emotional health, material health, and spiritual health. It will be like the center of this quantum movement. And even if you are here too long because maybe you have a very intense project that you need to fulfill, knowing that you're also able to relax gives you so much strength. So the answer to the question, if I meditate and if I get very grateful and really relax into the not doing and just being, will this make me sluggish and a bad CEO? No. The answer is a clear no. Just the opposite. It will give you much more strength on all of your other pillars.
Yeah, I love that. It's like balancing the masculine and the feminine, the action and the doing, the receiving, all of that. It's balancing it's like the yin yang of life, right? Finding that harmony. And as they say, diamonds are created under pressure. All right, diamonds are created. If you're feeling pressure right now, my friends, it's okay. You're going to turn into a diamond any minute now. All right?
Yes.
So just hang in there. And a great way to come into presence is just focusing on our breath, breathing in love and kindness and compassion and peace, and then breathing out all the anger and the resentment. Just focusing on your breath is such a simple thing to bring you back to the now, back to presence. And we've next week, we will be wrapping up soon because I know you have to run off in about 5 minutes or so. And the time goes so quick with you and I, Kirsten. That's why I love chatting with you.
Always.
Loving co-hosting this show. This is so cool. For our second show, I can feel we're going to have so many more amazing episodes. And for our episode 3, we have a fantastic guest coming, Linda Morrison. She's an extraordinary lady. She's actually one of my Mass Media Mastery clients and from Melbourne. And we're going to chat about 3 proven steps to reinvent your life. That will be our topic next week. And we are going to be on Tuesdays generally. It's just that I'm flying. Tomorrow night I'll be in the air flying to Bali, which is why we're now doing this on a Monday. However, generally mark your diaries, put a note in your calendar. Our show will be live at, it'll be around 8:30 p.m. for Australian Eastern Standard Time, which is Brisbane time, 8:30 p.m. on a Tuesday. And for those in Germany, Central European time will be about 11:30.
11. 11. Yes.
11:30. 11:30 CET and 8:30 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time. So Tuesday nights, tune in, and we will be looking for more guests as well. So if you'd like to come on as a guest on the show, then please reach out, send us a PM. And on that note, where can people connect with you, Kirsten?
There's so many ways to connect. I think we can share my link tree. There's
Yes.
all the links to my social media. You see my social media, which is Kirsten Linnartz _Karuna. This is KERSTINLINNARTZ _Karuna, or just my link tree. It's Kirsten Linnartz. You find all the links there to my free Facebook group where I share free trainings on a weekly base. You find the call booking link and much, much more. Also, I want to remind everyone, also those who tuned in a little bit later or are listening to our recording, please send us your topic requests, your suggestions. What do you want us to cover here? We're super happy if you send us some voice messages. Don't be shy to hear your own voice. We'll include that into the show as well. And we're super happy to address everything you want to know and learn about health, wealth, and or wisdom.
Wonderful. Love that. And for those who want to connect with me, you'll find all of my links at linktree/Aldwin, linktr.ee/Aldwin. Or, of course, you can Google me or Google Kirsten. We obviously have very unique names, so there's not going to be many out there with our names. Just Google us. You'll find us everywhere. Let's stay connected. You can book a call on my calendar link in there as well. If you want to book a call with me, there are some limited times in there. So hop along and see if you can find a time there, or just send a private message as well. I have the Global Good News Challenge that we do every single month. It's absolutely free. It's a way that you can share gratitude and good news, lift your energy, lift the energy of people who see your videos, and also help decrease depression and suicide rates at the same time, which is something very close to my heart, having had 4 friends who have killed themselves by the age of 45 and having had depression myself over the years as well. And it's something that we have seen an epidemic. We've seen a lot of people living in drama, particularly through COVID. There's been a lot of people who've not coped well, and my heart does go out to everyone who has been challenged during this time. You know, the thing is that we're never given challenges too great that we can't handle them. I truly believe that. I think whatever you're going through right now, you know, look for the learnings. Look for the learnings in what is happening right now. Look for ways that you can find gratitude in your life for the things that are happening in your life, because everything, I do believe, happens for you, not to you. There's always learnings in everything. Final thoughts, Kirsten?
Absolutely. And I want to add, reach out for help. You know, so many people are embarrassed when they have difficulties on coping something. This was something that the pandemic very much brought to light. You know, people are suffering in silence, in their loneliness. And this is for sure, you've experienced that with those dear to you who committed suicide as well. I had to experience that as well. And never suffer in silence. It's never a sign of weakness to reach out for help. Community gives you strength, support gives you strength, and it's a sign of self-care of asking for help. So I always want to encourage anyone facing any challenge, you know, it's, as Alwyn says, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And there's always light at the end of the tunnel, even if you cannot see it now. And I'm just having a download for the gold nugget. You know, we always want to share some nuggets of wisdom at the end of each show. Last week for a premiere, I prepared something, and then I had a download. I spat it out, something totally different. And I'm getting a download right now. Do you want to share your nugget of wisdom to end?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I absolutely love this quote that I'll share with you. It's not the number of breaths we take, it's the number of moments that take our breath away. in life.
I love that. I love that one. And this can be the small moments. It doesn't have to be parachuting. It can
Yes.
be the small moments. This is the art to master. And I had this when you were talking about pressure. Diamonds get formed in pressure. This is a quote I love sharing often, a download I had one day. And it goes, last year at the same time, she was saying, I'm under strong pressure. This year at the same time, she's saying, in the same situation, I'm giving birth to something great and divine. So this is how, as you experience a shift of your mindset, a growth of your ability, overcoming challenges, the perception of maybe one and the same situation can be totally different.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And for those who haven't liked our Facebook page yet, please do. We've got a Media Mavens Show Facebook page. We are on Spotify and on the podcast platforms as well. So please do connect there. I've just popped some links in the chat there, or just look us up, Media Mavens Show, the Media Mavens Show. We've got Rita Rose from Sydney. Hello, beautiful Rita. Love you, Rita. Beautiful girlfriend of mine. Great to see you there, Rita. She does fantastic makeup, by the way. Rita does the Red Peacock Cosmetics, does some wonderful vegan makeup. She says, yes, I'm a diamond created under pressure. Yes, you are, Rita. Absolutely. You are a diamond created under pressure.
Wonderful. I'd love to hear your story, Rita Rose. See if we had join us for one of the next times, please. And please share a little bit. How did this diamond survive the pressure and get to sparkle? Hop on one of the next times. We want to hear more about that.
Yes. In fact, Rita would be a great guest on this show. So we'd love to get you on as a guest too, Rita. You'd be amazing. She's an extraordinary lady. Extraordinary. Wow. So much beautiful Rita can share. All right. We must wrap up now. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you have joined us now. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, X, or Instagram. Please let us know what you thought of the show. What did you get out of it? If you've enjoyed that, share the love, and we'll be back next Tuesday. Okay, Tuesday. We are back with our episode 3 with Linda Morrison, 3 proven steps to reinvent your life, at 8:30 p.m. Brisbane time, 9:30 p.m. for Sydney, and 11:30 a.m. for those in Germany and Central European time. Thank you so much, Kirsten. It's been an absolute pleasure co-hosting with you today, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. Any final words, Kirsten, before we wrap up?
Same here. Wishing you a great flight. Hope your headaches are much better, and a wonderful rest of the week for everyone, no matter where you listen from and where you listen on.
Absolutely. And hello, Tracy's here as well. Nice work, ladies. Thank you so much. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Beautiful Tracy Corman, another gorgeous girlfriend from Two's Company. If you want to find a great match, reach out to twoscompany.com.au. Tracy Corman's she's your girl. She's a matchmaking queen. All right. Lots of love. Mwah, and have an extraordinary day or night. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.